East African Community practice that excess duty on inputs become a tax allowable expense to manufacturers. And the risk of passing this Section 14 as proposed in the bill would mean that we would potentially make it cheaper for someone to go and manufacture in a different country and then import into this country duty-free. And therefore, this committee was very conscious on the need to protect our manufacturers and make sure we buy Kenya and build Kenya. Clause 39 proposes the removal of the provision granting relief on excess duty on accessible goods. I have explained that. Clause 42, Honorable Speaker, addresses excess duty on goods where the committee is guided by the following principal criteria: exempting goods from locally manufactured goods, exempting products to prevent increases in consumer prices, improving the administration of excess duty for ease. Based on this principle, therefore, the committee recommends the following: exempting vegetable oils, fertilized eggs, and clinker from excess duty. Honorable Speaker, I would like to explain what the difference is between these eggs. We have what we call table eggs. Table eggs is ready-to-eat eggs that we eat here at our restaurant or our homes. We have incubated eggs of what we call fertilized eggs. These are eggs that are ready to hatch. These are the ones that give us, for example, the one-day-old chicks. Honorable Speaker, as a poultry farmer myself, I attempted, when I was buying my one-day-old chicks, I was told that I needed to wait for 4 months before I got the one-day-old chicks, Honorable Speaker. This means that there is a great, the supply of fertilized eggs in this country is much lower than that of table eggs. However, we need to protect our eggs from imported eggs from other markets. Therefore, a few years ago, if you remember, Kenyans were eating eggs from Uganda at the expense of eggs that are laid by our own chicken here. It is plausible. It defeats any reason why we should allow an egg laid in a different country to land into a country at a cheaper price than eggs that are being made by our farmers here. So we have therefore introduced, Honorable Speaker, imposition of excess duty on imported table eggs, on imported onions, and on imported potatoes, so that we protect our onion, our poultry, and our potato farmers, especially in Molo and Nyandarua. Based on this criteria, Honorable Speaker, the proposal to exempt them from excess duty, vegetable oils, and fertilized eggs from incubation, amongst other things, is what we use under this consideration, Honorable Speaker. Further in, keeping with the tax system's predictability, the committee proposes to maintain the current rates on excess duty on imported motorcycle, plastic, onions, potatoes, among others. And again, I want to explain here that excess duty has been proposed only on imported, completely assembled motorcycles. We have had local capacity of our manufacturers assembling our own motorcycles. Let us ride motorcycles that are assembled in Kenya. When we export these jobs to China, when we import these completely locally assembled goods from China, it means three things. One, we are exporting our jobs to another country. Two, we are eroding our foreign exchange, because once we do those importation of those goods, we have to use our dollars. And that is where it took us last year with the titular rate of our Kenya shillings going to as low as 167 shillings, Honorable Speaker. Three, we are certain of the quality of that particular product, because you can go to that plant, you can go to that factory and ascertain the quality of those, Honorable Speaker, in addition to creating employment to our young men and women in this country. With this regards, Honorable Speaker, to excess duty in services, the committee was guided by the need to keep the consumer prices for certain services low and then to ensure stability in terms of the rate of excess duty. Based on these criteria, the committee proposes to maintain the prevailing rate on money transfer services by banks and financial institutions and money transfer services by cellular phone providers. Honorable Speaker, you've heard the popular tuma na ya kutoa. So we want to make sure that that tuma na ya kutoa is not increased so that we retain the current rates that is on our cellular mobile transfer services. Clause 44, Honorable Speaker, proposes an increase in the import declaration fee to highlight a reduction from 30.5% to 2.5% in the Finance Act of 2023. This resulted in a significant revenue loss of 10 billion shillings. impacting the implementation of 2023-24 budget. And this, therefore, Honorable Speaker, you have seen in a record 2 supplemented budgets that have led to a very huge cut on our expenditures. And this is because one of the decisions that we made was a reduction of IDF last year from 3.5 to 2.5% led to a revenue loss of 10 billion shillings. Honorable Speaker, clause 45 and 48 proposes the introduction of an eco-levy to mitigate environmental damage and pollution caused by imported finished products in Kenya. The committee emphasizes that this levy should exclusively apply to imported finished products, therefore safeguarding local manufacturers who are already adhering to what's called the extended producer principle. Regarding to a stakeholder feedback and to mitigate price impacts on essential goods, however, the committee recommends excluding motorcycles, bicycle tires, wheelchairs, 3-wheel motorized vehicles, which you probably know as tuk-tuks and wheelbarrows, from this levy. Additionally, the committee proposes reducing the eco-levy for select finished goods. These adjustments are intended to balance environmental protection with consumer affordability and local manufacturing interests, Honorable Speaker. Especially on the area of e-waste, Honorable Speaker. Whatever products, these products, when you import them, when we import that phone, one day that phone will die ultimately. So we are saying, let us have a fund through the restoration fund which provides resources to ensure at the end of the life of that product, there is money that is used to restore, to either reuse, recycle, or restore the impact of that product to the economy, Honorable Speaker. And for example, how that fund is already working. Now, if you are doing mineral exploration in this country, and you go and dig up when you're doing your quarry or your mineral exploration, you are required to pay a bond so that when now you finish your exploration, there is money to restore that land to its original state, either, for example, by converting it into a dam or filling it up. So this is similar to that. And you've seen this work in other countries, where when at the end of use of a phone or a computer, those phones are taken, those computers are taken, and they are either used or recycled, Honorable Speaker. And it's also important to mention that the responsibility of the payment of this eco-levy is not on the consumer. It is on the manufacturer in that country of origin. And this, again, is in line with best practice. It has been introduced in Tanzania, it has been introduced in several countries, and most of these larger manufacturers are more than willing to pay this eco-levy to make sure that the products that they produce at the end of the life of that product, they're able to be collected, to be reused or recycled to prevent the eroding of our environment, Honorable Speaker. Clause 47 introduces the Export and Investment Protection Levy to address declining exports and increase imports, especially for local manufactured goods. The company's objective is to safeguard the local manufacturing sector against unfair trade practices, enhance its